Hi, everybody. So sorry, there was some technical issue earlier on. I think I should be live right now once more. So I'll just wait for a while for people to come back in. So sorry about the hiccup earlier on. Anyway. Okay, anyway, I'll just proceed. All right. Um, anyway, the whole program will be recorded, so it will be fine. Yeah, I think I'll just carry on first. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, let me just double check that I am live right now. Yeah, okay. I think I am. All right. I'll just proceed. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Heuristic Science. Now it's bi-weekly Facebook Live. Thank you for taking time to join us. And tonight, the topic that I want to discuss, right, will be on the change of syllabus. Okay. This year, the P6 cohort, right, is the first batch who will be going through the new PSLE syllabus. In fact, the new syllabus, it has already been introduced in 2023 and then progressively each year. So now finally is the primary six turns. And with this change in the syllabus, right, how does it impact the current batch of primary six students taking PSLE this year? Now, recently we did a webinar for all our students. So now tonight we are just going to share a small excerpt of the webinar with all of you. And hopefully it will benefit all of you. Okay. And let me start sharing with you the change. Okay, let me bring up a handout for to help me with my sharing. Now, here on this page, it is an extract from the current syllabus, which is an open document. You can see below. Okay, it is an official open document that every one of us can access through the internet. Now, I would like to highlight one portion, which is here. Okay, this portion here. Now, what is it focusing on? The ways of thinking and doing in science. So it focuses a lot of thinking as well as really practicing science. That is why our Facebook Live title, right, is also how to practice science. It's no longer just memorizing, okay? Memorization era, right? Yes, we still have to memorize the concept, but it is not just memorize a concept and then we stop there. It is truly understanding it and then practicing it. The word practice science, right, is highly emphasized under the new syllabus. So what is it? What does it actually mean by thinking as well as doing science? Now, let me share with you some of the important point here. Now, the three area here is investigating. So in order to understand more about science, we investigate. And then through investigation, we evaluate and then we reason. That means based on the evidence we get, we do some reasoning, thinking, processing. And after that, we develop explanation and also solution. Solution as in to solve certain problem. I'm sure all of you can agree with me that in science exam question, there's a lot of problems that is presented to the students and they are required to choose a solution and then explain why they choose that. Okay, so here are some of the areas. Now tonight I want to highlight or I want to zoom in on one particular area, which is this portion here. Okay, analyzing and interpreting data, because now we are living in a world that is full of data, full of evidence. Everything we do, right? We want data. We want things to support our belief or to support our claim. And how to get the data, right, is actually through the 3 steps before that. That means there's a problem, we investigate, we conduct the experiment, we test the solution, and then we get the data, we get the evidence. And then from there, we make informed decisions, we decide on certain things. Okay? Now, let me go further down. So this is the focus that I want to discuss tonight. And what is the implication of such change? Let's take a look at some of the past year PSLE question. What does it mean by interpreting and making sense, inferring from the data? Here is a question from 2025 PSLE, and you see the investigation here. Okay, we want to investigate something. Which insect repellent is the most effective to prevent mosquito bites? Okay, so here is the setup, and there's a special opening to put the hand in. So what the scientist does, right, is to first apply repellent E on the hand and then put the hand into the tank, count the number of mosquitoes that will stay on the hand for more than 1 minute. And then he repeated with the other 2 insect repellent. Here's the result gotten from the experiment or from the investigation that this scientist has done. Now, based on this data, we are supposed to solve the problem. The problem is which one is the most effective. So based on the data, that's when they have to think how to make sense of the number. Should I choose the one with the most mosquito that stay on the hand for 1 minute to be the most effective, or should I choose the one with the least mosquito? Now, such data, right, usually we go for the 2 extreme. Of course, we don't want something that is in the middle, like average. Okay, so in this case, which one would you choose? Now, let me just wait for a while for your response. All right, yeah, we go for the one that has the least number of mosquitoes. So answer will be insect repellent F, because the mosquito hardly want to stay on the hand due to the insect repellent that it has been sprayed. Now let's look at one more question here. This is also from 2025. Now let's take a look at this question. Pei Ling has a toy. As the toy moves forward, a drum will rotate with the wheels and push the handle and the spring. Okay. As the drum rotates further, it releases the handle to hit the cardboard. Now take note of this, and the ball will bounce up as shown in the diagram. Okay, there you go. So the drum will rotate and release the handle, then it will hit the cardboard. Okay, which is this portion here. Okay. Now, when the handle hits the cardboard, a sound is produced and recorded by a sensor. The result is shown here. When the graph is presented to you, okay, this is likely a data logger that is able to plot the graph directly. And same thing, we have to interpret the data. How many times the handle hit the cardboard? This is when we have to think. When the handle hit the cardboard, a sound will be produced. And that is when the sound level will increase. So each time when it picks, that is where the cardboard hits. So I am doing the inferring from the data. The data has to make sense to me reading the graph. So one time, two times, three, four, five, six. But let's read the question carefully. First 2 seconds. First 2 seconds will be from here to here. Therefore, 3 times only. If we are not careful, you will have like just count and then write down 6. So also need to read question carefully. Now, let me look at one more questions. Later on, I will share with you something from the textbook, okay? Now, before I do the next question, I would like to share with you something that is from the textbook, especially this year Primary 5 textbook under the topic of water, okay? Just give me a moment. Let me pull out the textbook and show you. Now, you will see in the textbook itself, right, there are a lot more data as well as graph, which was not in the previous syllabus. Okay, let me get that first before I do the next question. Okay, I believe that you are looking at the textbook right now. Okay. Now, under the topic of water, this portion was never included. Okay. Let me show you the number of graphs that appear in the textbook now. By the way, the textbook is written by MOE themselves. So it is a material that I will go for to refer, to study, and to get whatever information I need. Look at this graph, okay? It was not in the previous syllabus. So now every process, right, they show you a graph. This is a very, very clear evidence of graph as well as data, right, is going to take a much greater stage in the new syllabus, okay? You can see that all the way. See? There are more and more graphs in the textbook, all right, especially this portion here, the few typical processes, okay? Now, let me move on to show you one more question. This is also from the PSLE itself in 2024. Now, so just now I showed you a line graph. This is a bar graph, okay? The effect of substance X on the eggshell. He placed 3 similar pieces of eggshell in 40 ml of water. He added different mass of substance X to these 3 tubes and then see the effects of the substance. Now, you can also see that the outcome of the experiment is presented in a table format first, okay? The mass added, then what is the outcome? And the graph also shows the percentage of female and male that hatch from the eggs when kept at different temperatures. There are some more questions before that ask about the substance X as well as the impact. You can see that when you don't add anything, there's no change on the eggshell, but when you add just 3 grams, it's thinner. You add 6 grams, it becomes even thinner. Okay, basically when the eggshell is thinner, right, it's easier for the young inside to hatch out of it. Less energy is used. So that will also be a higher chance of hatching as long as the young has fully developed and it's time to hatch already. Now, the graph, it is very important to read what the graph means to us, okay? Percentage hatch as well as temperature. State the temperature at which the eggs of animal Y should be kept to ensure the important keyword here, continuity of its kind. Now, in order for this particular species to continue, that means reproduction need to take place. And I will see a few peak here, percentage. Wow, 26 not bad. A lot of female. 28 also, a lot of female. Another peak at 34, a lot of male. Basically, not a lot is not important, you know. If you look at 26, 28, only the female hatches. 34, only the male hatches. Is that good in terms of continuity? Even though there are so many of them. And what happened to the other gender? I think by now you know the answer. The best would be 32. Okay, why 32? Even though overall the gender number is lower, but at least I have both the male and the female, okay, in order to to fertilize the egg and to reproduce. And you are asked to explain your answer. So this is the kind of question where you need the data to support and to solve a problem. Okay, based now, let's say if we go back to the earlier slide that I showed you, which is right at the start, over here, okay, you analyze, you interpret the data, and then you construct explanation and design solution. So the solution here is I need the animal to continue exist. So my solution is to hatch them at 32 degrees Celsius. And explanation, now this is when I would like to show you the answering technique that we teach our students. It's a systematic way to answer such application question, including the data. You have to draw the evidence from the data. Okay, let's do that. Let me show you. Okay, make it smaller a little bit. Okay, the topic, right, is very obvious. Okay, it is testing you on the reproduction of animals. Okay, under reproduction. And the focus is on now in your syllabus, right? The current syllabus, you only learn the sexual reproduction, which means you need both the male and female in order for young to form the young. So the tested focus will be on the reproduction involving male and female. Okay, and the clue, right now, what does he mean by clue? So your child might be using many different terms now, but TCR was one of the pioneer that came up with the systematic way of answering, which becomes the pattern and the basis of that, which takes answering technique in different forms now. Okay, my choice will be 32 degrees Celsius. Why 32? Because I saw something in the graph, so that becomes my clue. So 32 degree. And why do I choose that? Because there is equal male and female. Okay, by doing this, the solution, the problem that I want to solve is down here, and the outcome will be ensure the continuity of animal Y. And in between here, right, will be the explanation. Why do I choose equal male and female? This is to make sure that there is. Now, this is when your whatever that you have learned in the topic, right, within the concept, you have to start applying. Okay. I choose equal male and female is to ensure that are both okay, they are females to produce egg. See, I am doing application. I change because I want to apply the concepts I've learned. There are females to produce egg and males to fertilize the eggs. Only when these two processes take place, right, then young will be formed. I will have fertilized egg that develops into young to grow into adults. Okay, only adults can continue to reproduce. So once this happens, I ensure the continuity of animal Y. Okay, and this will be a complete flow of explanation from data all the way to the solution. And now just put them into a complete sentence. Okay, of course, my claim first, 32 degrees Celsius. Why I choose that? Because at that temperature, okay, they are equal, male and female, that would hatch from eggs when the eggs are kept at that temperature to ensure they are females to produce eggs and male to fertilize the eggs. Then the fertilized eggs would develop into young and grow into adults to continue to ensure animal Y continue to exist, to ensure the continuity of animal Y. Okay, done. So hopefully this question, it shows you the whole entire process from investigation to conducting the experiment, gathering the data. Of course, all this happen in the background. So what is given to you, right, is just the outcome and the data gathered from the experiment. Wouldn't it be meaningful, okay, and make more sense if you are able to conduct the experiment yourself, gather the data, and then interpret it and solve a problem? And that is why we are going to organize the workshop next week during the March holiday, because our belief is always, we believe in practicing science, like literally practice science by doing investigation, and then from there you interpret the data that you yourself have gathered instead of given to you. Okay, and that will actually make you really a scientist who are practicing science. So I'm going to show you some of you might have seen the workshop details already. Okay, it's going to happen next week during the March holiday. You can see these are our past workshop participants who are doing the experiment, and we will give them gadgets or tools, right, that is actually used in the real industrial practice. Okay, so that everything makes sense to them. Okay, you can see the link here, and there will be a special promo code for you. Just as you register, put down that promo code, you will get the $20 off. And another one that is happening is for our younger children, okay, from P1 to P4. It's called the Explorer Farming Lab. We do have this small little vegetable garden in one of our campus at Coronation. So they are going to build their own hydroponic farm at the end of the workshop. But before that, they're going to pluck the harvest from our own farm to make salad. Yeah, correct, to make salad. The QR code is here. You can just scan and find out more information. Of course, you are most welcome to send us a text so that our admin can assist you. I will be posting let me see, here's the March workshop link first for you. Hang on. Okay, to make it easy for you, then farming lab, right, you can just scan the QR code that you can see on the screen right now. Okay, here's the March workshop link for you, right? And here's our contact number. And you can always send us a text and our admin will be there to assist you, okay? Now, I would like to apologize for the technical issue, but hopefully this short session will still reach you, okay? Via either Facebook or our YouTube. Until then, I see you next time.